What's up? It's 2 in the morning. You know who I am, and we're gonna make espresso. Got a grinder, got your La Marzocco. I know you have one in your kitchen. You're gonna need your tamper. Always keep it in the cozy, no doubt. So the coffee that I'm gonna use today is a single origin. It's an Ethiopia Yirgacheffe high coff. Not something you would necessarily normally see for espresso. Espresso is like really ridiculous. There's tons of different factors. Pretty much everything's amplified. Maybe a drip or a French press. You're looking at total immersion time of 3 to 4 minutes. With espresso, you're dealing in seconds, anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. Really, you gotta dial in everything to taste. Nothing's ever exactly the same. Same blend will taste different on different days, even different parts of the days, depending on what's going on. The reason I like espresso is you get these really intense, like snappy, ridiculous flavors. They just kind of slap you in the face. Kind of like drinking whiskey. It's like all there, and you just bam. Gonna get my portafilter, this guy right here. Before we do anything else, you want to dry it out. Get rid of any leftover residue, funk from the last shot you pulled. Then we're gonna turn on our grinder, and we're gonna grind. If you saw me tapping the portafilter on the forks here, that's just settling. What I'm doing is putting more coffee in. You might not want to settle at all. You might want to settle once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, depending on how much coffee you want for what you're doing. Settling a few times with this is probably going to end up being 21-ish grams of coffee. After I have all this, I need to level it. Essentially, everything I'm doing here is to set up an even density. You want this to offer a nice even resistance to the hot water that's going to come out of the machine at a ridiculously high pressure, about 9 bars. So what I'm going to do is kind of level this off. Everyone does this a different way. I kind of grab it like this and swipe it. Essentially, you should end up with a little flat cake. The little leveling motion is kind of filling in any cracks, air, or squishing out any lumps that may have happened. Next thing you want to do is tamping it. Tamping is really easy. Grab whichever one feels really good and is nice and brightly colored. People dig that. Essentially, all you want to do with tamping is you're going to put this in here and push down, and you want to maintain that even density. Now, have the same amount of coffee inside there, just packed down tight. Now this thing is ready to brew. Before I do anything, I'm going to purge the group head for about a second or two. What this is going to do is rinse any funk that's in there out, again from the last shot that might be sitting in there, and since it's going to bring the group head back up to temperature. This has been out, so this is losing heat. Then this is going to go in, and I'm going to hit brew. So as I'm watching the shots, I'm looking at color, I'm looking at flow rate, I'm looking at when they dropped, I'm looking at what's happening physically with them. Are they hanging straight down? Are they going all over the place? And there's many different levels of acceptability. The perfect shot from a particular coffee, definitely not going to look the same as a perfect shot from a different coffee. So this Yirgacheffe that we have here is going to look physically much different than the espresso blend that we pull every day in the cafe. Single origins tend to be a little bit lighter in color. They don't usually get as much flecking on them. Blends tend to be like darker, a little bit heavier. They got a nice little like tiger striping. And essentially what you're kind of looking for in the cup is from one shot, you're gonna get anywhere from a ½ an ounce to an ounce and a half. It's a pretty wide range. Most of the time we're going for about 3/4 of an ounce. One portafilter makes 2 shots. So one of these that I have here is a single. If you have your espresso, you want to serve it right away. You don't want to leave it hanging out anywhere. After you brew it, it dies off relatively quickly. Much of the espresso is actually formed of these little tiny gases, little tiny bubbles called crema, which dissipate rather quickly. So you want to enjoy it right away in a cup that's nice and warm, not too hot. That's it.